I'm doing an interview about the Vasquez that passed away in a motorcycle crash a few years ago. Talking to his kids, I should say. Tell me who your names are.
I'm Lucas Vasquez.
I'm Drew Vasquez.
What's your age and what exactly are your ages?
I'm 20. And
I'm 22.
22 and 20. Okay, gotcha. So talk about your dad as a father figure and what he meant to you guys as a family man.
Go ahead.
There's a lot I could talk about, Tyler. As a family man, my dad taught me everything there is to be about, family. I live my life every day about looking out for my brother, my sister, my mother, Terrence, Michaela, everybody. Even if it's not blood family, anybody who has had an impact in our lives or that we've impacted their lives, they're family, right? No matter who it is, if I know you, you're family to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the bottom line that my dad's always taught me. So,
and I also think, he always put his family first. He always would always make sure we were all set and good to go for anything we needed.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
So when you guys heard the news, what was going through your mind?
I didn't. So when the accident happened, I was at school. They didn't tell me what happened. I was just heading up to the hospital in Champaign, just confused on what in the whole situation, what was going on. Mm-hmm. And then the doctor came in and told us what had happened and that he probably wouldn't make it. And it was just, I don't know, I was very shocked. I honestly didn't know what to feel. I was very shocked. And honestly, I was just numb. I couldn't explain what I was going through.
I mean, you were a lot younger than I was, but still, I was 18, you were 16?
Yep.
So, I'll never forget it though. I was it's my sophomore year into my college football career. I was heading down to the stadium. I was doing this program where I would go in every Thursday morning to do homework with my defensive coach. And I got that phone call from my mother. I mean, it was 8 a.m. on a Thursday morning. And my routine was just go to the defense coordinator's office and do your homework. So I was heading there to do that, and I got this hysterical phone call from my mom, and I didn't think much of it because just the things I've been through with my dad, he had been through some crazy stuff, and he always overcame it, right? So when I got that phone call from my mom saying that my dad was on a motorcycle, he might not be making it home, I thought, knowing my dad, I was like, he's gonna make it through it, right? I'm gonna go talk to my coach, I'm gonna head home, but my dad's gonna be all right. So I headed to my coach's office, had the conversation with him, just telling him that, my dad's been in a motorcycle accident. Don't really know. I had no idea. I had no idea what the outcome was. And he said, grab a teammate. I grabbed one of the closest guys I had 3 weeks into my college career. Grabbed him, hopped in my car, headed 2.5 hours down to Champaign, Illinois, and my ride down, I'll never forget it, man. I'm in the car with one of my buddies, and we're talking best case scenarios, right? I'm like, I'm gonna get there and everybody's good to go, because that's just how that's how life was. It was just no matter what happened, I'd get there. My dad had things handled, so I'm driving down. My family's blowing up my phone, and got to the hospital. Saw Lucas. Saw Samantha, saw my mom standing outside, even my grandpa Matthews, and when I saw them standing outside the hospital, I was just like, something's different, right?
Who is his best friend?
Whew. I can't name a best friend.
Yeah, I know he was a very social person. He got along with everyone really. He had multiple friends that, really one I could really think of was we were always at Jimmy Kurgan's house.
Jimmy Kurgan.
Where they play Madden and stuff like that.
I look at it from now. I went to school 3 hours away. I work up there. I come home 3 hours away from where I've, built my college career and everything. But I run into so many people who don't know me, and they're like, "You're Vasquez?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Your dad's Juan?" I'm like, "Yep." And they're like, "Oh, I knew Juan. He was a great person. I'm so sorry to hear about it." And I'm like, I'm thankful for people around here who don't know me or Lucas or my sister or my mom, anybody, but they knew my dad, and they're so open. Just say, "We knew him as a person. We appreciate him. We're so sorry for your loss." It fills a lot of space in our hearts, just knowing not knowing people from this community who knew my dad more than what, in a way that we didn't. And there's like, your dad was a great person, because that was a way we didn't know our dad, right?
And another person he was really close with was his brother Felix. He liked to hang out with him a lot. And he was every day, usually after work, he'd usually stop by and go hang out with him and stuff like that. Yeah, he was really close with his brother.
So in 2016, he passed away. How old would he be now?
He would be 44.
44.
Yeah.
Where did he attend college at?
He actually didn't go to college. He just went, do you remember? He went to National Guard.
Lakeland. Well, he did National Guard, but he went to Lakeland, didn't finish out, came back to Effingham.
Yeah.
What was the vibe around this area for the neighborhood here whenever the tragic news happened?
Well, we actually didn't live in this neighborhood. We lived over on the other side of town. But from what I can remember, our neighbors and stuff, they were very, they were very caring and stuff like that. Came over, made sure we had plenty of food and stuff like that, just to take care of us.
I was gonna say it was a big impact, man. I'm not gonna lie. I've been to a few funerals in my life, and it's not a bragging right, but my dad's funeral was massive.
A lot of people show up.
That was the visitation. Was a very long night.
The one thing I'll never forget about my dad passing away was how many people I hugged the day that we were burying him. That made the biggest difference. I talked to Lucas, I talked to my mom, I talked to my sister, and something we'll never forget is how many people we hugged. And it took away from the fact that we were burying my father, but like how many people were coming up and we were hugging him. It was just like, man, he made a bigger impact than what we even knew about.
Yeah.
And that's what it was awesome.
Yeah, and I was very impressed about the amount of people that came to the visitation, just to say, we're sorry for your loss and stuff like that.
It was awesome.
What did he mean to you as far as a father figure to watch you play football?
So when it comes to playing football, me and Drew, we were a lot different. So like, I feel like he was a lot more relaxed on me playing football, but me and Drew played totally different positions. So like, it was different for my dad to try to like teach me a different position than what he was coaching Drew. But I think through the whole process, I think he did an amazing job, and I'm really thankful for all the hard work and effort he put into my athletic career.
How about you, Drew?
I think the big difference is that I was the oldest. I was his oldest child. So growing up playing sports, he was always in my sports first because I was the oldest, right? So Lucas was younger than me. He coached my junior football league. He coached
flag football.
If he could help, he was on the baseball teams. Whatever he could do, he was doing it. And what I love is that, in today's world, he's gone. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing for my life. I'm trying to figure out work. I think back to when I was young, my dad didn't have that solid job security, right? He didn't have that one company that he always worked with, whatever. He did whatever he had to do to make money and coach us at the same time. And I love that. That's what my goal is to do, is to coach my children. I still want to make money at the end of the day. I know we lived tight. We weren't poor. We had what we needed. But he made sure that he worked to make enough money to where we were living comfortably, and he was coaching us at the same time. So I think the big difference is that I was older, so he was able to be more direct with my coaching and stuff. And Lucas was younger and under different coaches, so he would try and influence you as much as he can, but he didn't have as much leverage as he did with me. I mean, he was coaching, I was the one playing. He was hard on me.
Yeah, he definitely was. Yeah,
he was hard on me.
But growing up, watching him, because I obviously didn't play with you, so watching him coach Drew on the sidelines, that really inspired me, and that's one of the reasons why I'm going into that's what I want to do is coach later on in life. Yeah. So he was a big inspiration for me for coaching wise.
Who was his biggest role model?
Probably Mark Fiesel.
That's what I was gonna say.
Mark Fiesel. Mark Fiesel was his JFL coach when he played. It was actually they were the first ever JFL team to be created.
That's what I was gonna say. So Dan Garrett started JFL in Effingham, and then Mark Fiesel was a big person in that, generating junior football in Effingham and everything. And our dad was a person who had a mother who really cared about him, but he didn't have the parents in his life, right? So he just kind of leveraged sports to keep him straight, played football, played basketball, played baseball, anything he could. But Mark Fiesel was a person in this community who really took him under his wing and, guided him, say, hey, play sports, keep your head straight, and just go from there. So Mark Fiesel is definitely a huge impact player in my dad's life.
So as far as a person and not just as an athlete, did he do a lot of workouts with a lot of younger players since he was a great athlete?
I don't think he really did much workouts with athletes around here.
I would say people his age,
definitely.
I don't know. I wasn't there. But I would say as he became an adult and got into mentoring kids, I've had countless people come up to me and tell me, your dad plays such a role in my life. And I'm lost. I'm like, how did he play a role in your life when he played such an important role in our life?
Yeah.
But they tell me about it. They're like, he did this, he did that. And I'm like, I admire that. Because I didn't see that, right? He took time out of his life to, just make kids believe in themselves and play sports and stick with sports because of the things it teaches you in life. And when people come up and tell me your dad was a father figure to me, I'm just sitting there like, how? Like, he was a father figure to me and my family. How did he make time to be a father figure to you guys? But he did. And I didn't know it. And I hear about it every day and I love it. I literally love it.
I wanted to ask you this, Lucas. So talk about, so you're at Lakeland.
Yeah.
Did he ever give you advice as far as what do you want to do in college, or what do you want to do this and this point, that point? I mean,
his main advice was, I can't really remember. He really pushed. He wasn't really concerned what I wanted to do with my life. He was just making sure if you have a goal you want to achieve and like what you want to do in life, pursue that. He was a very goal oriented person when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah.
For me, I mean, he was very, what I want to say, interactive in, what I was going to do after high school. When I chose to go to North Central, he was not for it. He was
not for it?
No. He wanted me to go to McKendree College because it's Division II. He wanted me to play big football, which we didn't know what D3 football could be, right? I mean, I think in Southern Illinois, everybody says, hey, go D1, go do D2, make it out of here.
They really don't.
D3 wasn't a part of the conversation. And I will never forget, man. I mean, it was 4 months before my dad passed away. I went up to my mom and dad's room and I told them, I said, hey, you want me to go to McKendree because he could afford it, right? He could help me pay for college. And if I went to North Central, it was on my own. And I told him, I said, Dad, like, I respect what you want me to do, but North Central is my calling. And even if I have to pay for it myself, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. And that's something he's taught us our whole life is that if you want something, you're going to make it happen, right? So that was a huge growing moment for me in my life, stepping up to my dad, who was a person who, I mean, we never went against him. Never went against Dad. If he had an idea about something, you didn't go against it. And I think you could go around town and ask everybody. They would tell you if my dad believed about something, nobody was telling him different. So when I told him that, I'm going to North Central, going D3 football rather than McKendree, he didn't take it the easiest. He brought up the fact that, Drew, I can help you pay for school.
He took it cool at first, but he'd always, slide in jokes, you know what I mean? He'd always tease you a little bit about not going to, he'd always, say something about not going to McKendree.
Dude, ever since playing JFL, my dad was saying, you're going to the NFL, no matter what. No matter what somebody tells you, you're going to the NFL. That's what he was. No matter, not even if it was me, if it was you, if somebody else's child, he didn't care. He was telling you, you're going all the way because you have to have that belief system. But, when I told him I'm going to North Central, it was my third JV game in North Central. He freaking got off work and where was he working at?
He was working with
Consolidated.
Yeah, he was working in Hillsboro at the time.
Yeah. So he had a 3-hour drive, right? My game started at 7 p.m. And he texted me that night. He said, I'm going to be at your game. I'm like, okay, cool, awesome. We were playing the JV game against our biggest rival, Wheaton College. And I thought he was going to be late, whatever. Started the game at safety. And I look up in the bleachers, and he's there. 3 hours from when he got off work to when my game started, he was there. And I'm thinking, I'm like, how did you get here on time? You were driving 95 miles an hour. You got here fast. Played that game. I actually got a concussion. I hit a kid so hard, I knocked myself senseless.
That whole game, he was like, he just downloaded Snapchat and just got an account set up. And the whole time, I was at home because like I had school the next morning because it was Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
And he was sending me clips of like every single play.
I still have the clips.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad, every snap I was on the field, he had a video. He was sending it to my family. But after that game, that was the last time I saw him. Was after that game, it was like 10:30. He had a 3-hour drive home, but he was like, "Hey, where do you want to go get food? You want to go to Five Guys, wherever?" He didn't care. So I was like, "Let's go to Five Guys." We went there and ate dinner. And in the middle of dinner, he was just like, "Drew," he literally told me this. He said, "Drew, I'm so happy that you went against my decision and told me you're coming to school here because I love it here. Now that I've seen you play and I've seen the school, I'm so happy that you made this decision."
Wow.
And
That's gutsy.
yeah.
That's very gutsy.
Especially coming from my dad. You know, my dad, I was like, okay, awesome. And I'll never forget, we hopped in my car, or his car, not my car. He drove me up to my dorm room. I told him I loved him, said bye, hopped out, and he was like, "Hey, Drew, come here." And I was like, "Okay, what's he want?" So I go walking back, and he's like, "Give me one more hug. I love you." I hugged him. I said, "I loved you." And then, went through that week of practice, and then that Thursday is when I got the phone call. So I am extremely thankful that he came up to my game, said, what he said, just blessing my decision, and that I got to see him and tell him I loved him. I mean, I'm so thankful.
It was nice to get that confirmation.
Yeah.
So thankful.
Last couple of questions I have for you guys. Number one, talk about senior night. Being with your dad. What was that like?
My senior night, I actually, that was a year after he passed.
That was a year after.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it was a little different. It was just me and Mom, and I had a really cool idea. I actually stole it from someone that actually,
Probably
from
on
my
Twitter or something.
Yeah. But so we got a nice, top half picture of Dad.
Like
and
a portrait?
Yeah, portrait. And I carried it out with me. And, it was a nice gesture, I thought.
How about you, Drew?
Yeah, I'll never forget my senior night. So, like I said, my dad was a guy who worked his ass off no matter. Once we got out of like Little League sports, so I was telling you earlier, he always made it work to where he was making money, but yet coaching us at the same time. Once we got to the college or the high school level, he, realized, okay, I can't coach my kids anymore. I'm gonna get a solid job. That's when he started working hard. He was working AT&T out of St. Louis, so driving 2 hours a day, and then got into Hillsborough, so he was only driving like an hour.
Got with Consolidated in Hillsborough.
Consolidated.
Yep, and then he finally, 2 months before he passed, he finally got transferred over to Mattoon.
Yep.
And that was just so much easier on him.
So then on my senior night, he was actually working overtime. So I'm standing there on the track with my mom, and my mom's telling me, like, your dad's working, he wants to be here, he really wants to be here, but he's working. So, like, to me, I didn't care. Like, my dad had built me that you got to work at the end of the day. I have football and everything to enjoy right now, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to work at some point. So him not being there did not hurt me at all because I knew in his heart he wanted to be there. And so I walked out with my mom on the track for my senior night, and I mean, I'll never forget in the game when I saw him up against the fence. I was like, I knew he was going to be here, It didn't bother me at all that he didn't walk on the track because I knew he was working to provide for our family, and he was going to be here when he could. So,
last question for you guys: is there anything that you guys want to talk about the legacy that he left for this entire community, the kind of guy that he is? In closing,
I just can't believe the amount of the impact he had on so many people's lives, especially kids our age that he coached and stuff like that. The amount of people that came up to me and said how much he impacted their life, it blew my mind, and I'm very thankful for it.
Your dad's a great man. I've been hearing nothing but great stories about him.
Yeah.
He's a great man. How about you, Drew?
I know my dad's legacy. My dad's legacy was that he was born in Flora.
He was born in Flora and grew up in Friday and Edgewood.
Born in Flora, Illinois, raised in Friday and Edgewood, and he lived 40 years and looked at how many people showed up to his funeral. 800 plus?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was a 4-hour visitation, and there was just people lined out nonstop the whole night.
Who all spoke there?
That's just Jeff Michaels, and
then I don't remember who else it would. I was in shock. I don't really remember any of the stuff going on. So
But
That's great.
That's what I was gonna say about my dad is that, you know, he was born in Florida, Illinois, born and raised in Frina, Edgewood, Effingham. And none of that impacted the way his view of life, right? He never thought, I'm from a small town, I'm gonna do small things. No, that small things was never a part of the picture when it came to my dad's life. Never. He said, you think big or you go home, right? He never left Southern Illinois. But what he did was he worked his ass off every day, talked to everyone he saw every day, talked to you like you were somebody who he didn't even know. He would just talk to you like you're off the, it didn't matter. He knew you.
He cared about you in so many different ways, and nothing but, I tell you what, nothing but praise is what I keep hearing from people. He's like a father figure to everybody in this community. So, guys, this is Drew Vasquez. This is Lucas Vasquez, Juan's sons.
Yep.
I'm just happy that I was able to share their story. Guys, anything in closing? And I'm going to wrap it up here.
I think we're good.
No, I was just going to say, back to what we were talking about, my dad's legacy was, it doesn't matter where you come from, if you work your ass off, you're gonna achieve your goals. Create your goals and chase them. That's all you got to do.
Remembering Juan Vasquez's legacy. Thank you guys for your story.
Thank you.
Thank you.